And just like dirt, it was episode 6 of season 3. Oh my God, you guys, where to begin? So here it is. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. We got the dirt, we got the dirt. Okay. Like, no, major spoilers ahead. Actually, to the makers of And Just Like That, like Michael Patrick King and your writers, like, spoiler alert to the actual writers of the freaking show, you guys killed off a character that was already dead in season 1, but now he dies again in season 3? You have no clue what you're writing about. What am I talking about? Well, the major event in this episode is that Lisa, Todd Wexley's, I can't go that far, my hand disappears into Charlotte, but Lisa is the last one in the row. Lisa's father passes away in episode 6 of season 3 of And Just Like That. Except, and then there's a whole funeral for his passing. So Lisa's dad passes away in season 3, episode 6. Except, surprise, surprise, Lisa, the same Lisa character, tells us in season 1, episode 2, I believe, of And Just Like That, that her father passed away a year ago. So that was 3 years ago when she said that. So that means that her father passed away 4 to 5 years ago. And yet somehow the writers of the show and the runners of the show forgot that Lisa's dad passed away before season 1. And now somehow miraculously he's back alive again, and he passed away again. He passed away again. This time in season 3 of And Just Like That, Lisa's dad passed away again. And just like dirt, he was 6 feet under again. Now, if you're 6 feet under twice, is that 12 6 feet under? Or 12 feet under instead of 6 feet under? We don't know. So could you imagine the embarrassment? Like, and then you know how HBO has a YouTube channel, like HBO Max has a YouTube channel, and Michael Patrick King has a whole podcast with his writers, and every week after the episode airs, they have like a 1 hour, 50 minutes to an hour podcast talking about the episode. So when episode 6 aired, they posted the podcast, which you can watch on YouTube, and of course they did not address this because they had no clue. They forgot what they wrote in season 1. Like, I mean, you guys, you can't make this shit up. And now people are writing, right, in the comments under that podcast, like, hey, dude, you forgot that she already killed off her dad in season 1. And so I wonder, now they're finding out because I'm sure they're reading the comments. So what are they going to do next week after episode 7 of season 3 airs and they do their podcast? Are they going to like address this and be like, oh my gosh, we totally forgot. Sorry, you guys. Or did they maybe pre-record these podcasts months in advance? Hence, they will not address the situation until season 4, if there ever is a season 4. Now, what I find very interesting, I know a lot of people love to hate watch, and there's a lot of YouTubers out there and podcasts out there that like do the most worst like reviews of the show every week. They're all rushing to outdo each other to have the worst, like the most hateful title for their own videos reviewing the next episode. But that's not me. I enjoy the show. Okay. Is it cringe? Yeah. But I love my girls. I even love the new girls. I wish them well. They're all cuckoo and crazy. And I'm having fun watching it. But so, yeah, if you come to watch my reviews, obvi, like, I'm not going to be, I'm not that person sitting in my mother's basement on a sticky keyboard, okay, keyboard warrioring away against this show. Like, if you don't like the show, don't watch the show. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Now, does that mean I'm not going to criticize the show? Hell no. Of course I'm going to criticize the show. It's fun. It's fun to criticize it. But anyway, so yeah. So okay. So episode 6. Um, man, it was bad. It was bad. Okay, it was bad because y'all. Aiden comes to see Carrie, and uh, he tells. Okay, so he's a mess because his son is apparently supposed to go to camp or somewhere. So Aiden gets like a week or two off, and so he wants to spend his time with Carrie. So he comes to New York. And this idiot, he's like throwing rocks at her window because he wanted to be romantic, like to let her know that he has arrived instead of ringing the freaking doorbell. Or maybe instead of using the key that she literally left him when she left Virginia. She gave him the key to her home, saying that's his house too now. Use the freaking key, Aiden, to enter the house. No. Instead, he's throwing rocks at her window and he breaks her window. Now, seeing how Carrie reacted to Miranda drinking her Mexican Coca-Cola, eating her last yogurt from the fridge, eating her last banana from the kitchen. What a great friend Carrie is, inviting Miranda to stay over and not even buying food for her to welcome her upon her arrival. Then Miranda can buy food later. If she freaked out that much for the yogurt, banana, and Coca-Cola in the prior episode, then I'm like, how is she going to freak out now that Aiden broke her window? She did freak out, and in the worst way possible. She did not, like leash out at him. She did not like go ballistic nuclear on him. No. She was even more of a douche. She went passive aggressive on him. And boy, oh boy, was it painful to watch. He came in, he was super sorry that he broke the window. He was like really, really sorry. He went down on his knees to clean the glass shards immediately. And then she just started talking about, but that window, that was the glass, the old glass from 1800 something that's already starting to wave and melt with time. And that's the glass that every day at 3 p.m., the sun shines through that glass, and that wavy glass would form a rainbow. The rainbow would then hit the wall inside my house, and now that glass is broken. Aiden is like, I'll buy you a new glass. She's like, no other glass can ever replace this glass. This glass is poetry. And of course, Aiden felt like total shit. Like he felt like total shit. And he's like, oh my God, I'm gonna start Googling like antique places that have like antique glass. She's like, oh really? No, you don't need to do that, but do it. But you don't need to, but do it. So basically, they're not spending any time together really. Like he's like hunting for glass, okay? While she's barefoot in her own apartment, and Aiden is like, you're never barefoot. Why are you barefoot? Don't step on the glass. She's like, yeah, there's a guy downstairs, the writer of the book. I'm not doing high heels anymore because I'm disturbing him. Actually, the episode opens up with Carrie having dinner with Mr. Book Writer from downstairs. And just as I suspected, this is before Aiden arrives, okay? Just as I suspected, I told you in my prior episode, in my review of episode 5, go check out my review of episode 5 because we'll go. I said, oh, that British author is going to be psychological challenge for Carrie. She loves men that are challenging to her. She's going to be so into him. Matter of fact, she is. Matter of fact, what does she do? Matter of fact, the episode starts with them two having dinner at his place, and he's asking her to read his first chapter of his book or second chapter of his book, and then she says, "Ooh, you know what I mean?" She perked up, like when he said, "Would you mind reading chapter of my book?" Like everything in her lit up. Like I think she wetted herself a little. Okay. And I'm like, Carrie, can you be any more like, take me down, man, writer from England? And then she's like, well, as a matter of fact, I would like you want to give me your book? I'll give you my book if you give me yours. I mean, it was really embarrassing. So anyway, but then she says, but I'm a really bad writer, really bad. Don't expect anything from me. He's like, yeah, I'll read your book if you read mine. Okay. So they're going to have some sex going on between them. And and I'm already thinking, okay, poor Aiden, he's in for a bumpy ride yet again. Except, surprise, surprise, this time around, Aiden actually comes to visit Carrie. He breaks the glass. He goes hunting for the glass. The next morning, he's supposed to go with Carrie to the Tiffany VIP event. Such a stupid scene, by the way. Mitzi was there, and Mitzi's like, why did they invite me? But then they ended up inviting her. Her invite was in spam. I mean, Mitzi's comedic relief at this point. Yeah, why not? I love Mitzi, but like, whatever. So he comes back. So she comes back. She went with Charlotte to the Tiffany event. How much money did LVMH pay to get that sponsorship there? Yeah, LVMH owns Tiffany and Co. FYI. By the way, that store looks terrible now. It looked much better in Breakfast at Tiffany's, but we digress. Okay. So then she comes back home and Aiden. Oh, there was a post-it note. And of course, that reminds us of Burger when Burger wrote Carrie, sorry, I can't. Like, I can't date. Like, he broke up with her on a post-it note. She wakes up before Tiffany, and Aiden left her a post-it note saying, like, something to the effect, like, he's gone to look for her glass, whatever. Um, and so it felt a little bit like a breakup note because we all remembered the post-it note, from Burger, from Sex in the City. But anyway, so she goes to the Tiffany event with Charlotte, comes back. Aiden is in the house, sitting in the living room, looking at that spot where the window was broken, and there's a ton of other window. He bought a ton of antique glass, and it's all over the living room, and he's just depressed, not talking. And Carrie's like, stop acting like crazy. Like, what's wrong? What's wrong? He's like, I can't fix anything. I can't fix anything. I'm like, oh my God. He's so annoying. We also see him in one scene when he's putting some product in his hair because he's losing hair. Is it Rogaine? I don't know what it is, but they show him putting some of those. I'm like, oh my God. He's not one of those guys spending thousands of dollars on these miracle creams that are potions, lotions that are not going to work. Honey, you're going to lose your hair. Because if those potions were working, you wouldn't be losing your hair. But anyway, so they just make him look like a loser. And then he comes and mopes and whines at Carrie, says, I can't fix anything. I can't fix anything. My son doesn't like me. He didn't want to go to camp in the end. It was all a mess. But I came here anyway. And actually, while I was driving away from the airport, I went to take my son to the airport with my ex-wife. I forgot her name. Carol, Carol Ann, Karen, I don't know. something. And he's like, oh, Carrie, oh, woe is me, woe is me. And Carrie's like, what's wrong with you? He's like, yeah, oh, Kathy is her name? Oh, okay. Thanks, Nectarine Man. And then, by the way, everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's a legend, just my opinion. Also, hashtag not sponsored. Subscribe, thumb up the video. And I do live stream several times a week on my main channel. And so you can partake in the live chats. That's why I'm kind of reading the chats as we're going along. Thank you, Nectarine Man. Kathy's her name. So Aiden is like, oh, and I was driving away from the airport or whatever, train station or whatever, wherever they dropped off the son. And he's like, and oh, we had a fight and then I had sex with her. Oh, I'm like, oh boy. Oh boy. Because here I was thinking, well, Carrie's so gonna have sex with the writer. But no, this time Aiden, he's like feeling so guilty, guilty. And like, okay. She's like looking at him like, oh. And I'm like, oh boy, is she gonna freak out? Is she gonna freak out? He cheated on Carrie. And Carrie looks at him and says, I understand. He's like, what? You're not angry at me? Like, he's trying to do everything at this point to have the power over her, like she had power over him in Sex and the City when she broke his heart abandoning him. But he just cannot. The writers are never going to give him power over her. Never. Even in this one instance, the only instance in which I thought he would ever have power over her is if he made her feel like there's somebody better for him than her out there. Even when he told her that he had sex with his ex and cheated on her with his ex, even in that moment, Carrie is above him. And she tells him, I understand. He's like, what? She's like, yeah, I get it. Like, this is an open relationship. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, are you having sex with other men? She's like, well, I never said that we're going to be exclusive. So he's now angry at her. And again, she twisted it. And again, she's on top. He's the power bottom of this relationship. Let me tell you. Oof, what a loser. Man, I feel, I'm like, you know what? Put the man out of his misery. Put the man out of his misery already. This is so sad to watch. She is nuking him. Nuking him. And by the way, yeah, she says, oh, I understand. La 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 la. No, it's like, it's fine, I understand. But what I've read between the lines there is like, she's like, I don't really care. Like, which kind of shows me that she doesn't really love him. Oh my God. Oof. Because, okay, so anyway, he had to leave. And kind of it all ends with him leaving, giving her a kiss. And then she says, he's like, I have to go home. And then she says, you are home. This is home. And she's at peace. She's like totally fine, giving him the key to the house and like acting like everything is fine. Of course, she's going to act like everything is fine. She has the British author with the big schlong living underneath her, and she ready to ride that horsey till the cows come home, okay? And as soon as Aiden leaves, now she has carte blanche to do whatever she wants with Mr. Pulitzer Prize downstairs, right? And then what happens is, well, Aiden goes downstairs. He's kind of getting ready to leave. And the writer from downstairs is coming up the stairs, and Aiden is like, you can see his demeanor change. Now he's jealous, you know, he's the man of the house. He's the man of the house, you know. Now Aiden is like, who are you? The guy's knocking at the door. He's like, oh, sorry, you know, with a British accent. I just love from downstairs. Here's the given for Carrie text. Cockney accent. The guy has a little bit more noble accent. Anyway, Aiden is like, uh-huh. So anyway, he takes the first chapter of the book and leaves it on Carrie's table, which he bought her. And when Carrie finally wakes up at the end of the episode, she goes downstairs and she's walking to the kitchen, passes by the table, and she sees the manuscript on the table. And she's like, oh, how did this get here? She lifts it up. So there's friction there. Aiden is probably jealous. He's figuring out, he's connecting the dots that Carrie is going to go rogue with the Brit. Okay. He is sniffing out a new Mr. Big Sitch. She's so going to dump him for the writer. And then the writer is going to dump her. Her heart is going to be broken. Oh my God, it's going to be such a mess. But since she said it's an open relationship and he kind of had to accept it, maybe he's going to be fine with her shagging the Brit. I don't know. Meanwhile, Miranda is dating her BBC, also another Brit. Miranda is dating her Brit woman, Brittany. And Brittany has the two dogs, and they whatever. I guess the dogs are kind of on the fence whether or not they want to accept Miranda or not. But Miranda is finally going to buy or rent or buy an apartment. Seema is helping her. Look, we're gonna get to Seema and Miranda's interactions in this episode. Oof. But Miranda wants to ask her girlfriend, well, not yet girlfriend, but she thinks there's potential for her becoming her girlfriend. She wants to ask her if she would like to meet her son Brady. And her Brit is like, I'm worried. I'm not so good with kids. This is the first time that I would have a girlfriend that has a son. And then Miranda's like, did you call me girlfriend? Are we girlfriends now? Miranda in her best Gilded Age voice. Poor Cynthia Nixon. I can just see her rushing off from one set to the next. And then she forgets, like she's Miranda one day and then Aunt Ada the next day. And sometimes it's Aunt Ada. I can feel her sometimes being Aunt Ada and sometimes she's Miranda. I'm like, wait, hold on a minute. I mean, I know both shows play in New York, but I'm like, wait, is she a time traveler? Is this actually season 8 or 9 of Outlander? Like, because sometimes and just like that feels a little bit like Outlander. You know what I mean? Like a cheap version of Outlander. And Cynthia Nixon is just a time traveler and she travels between, the Gilded Age and modern day New York. So anyway, so long story short, seems like Brady, there he arrives to have lunch with Miranda and her Brit. And he loves the dogs. The dogs seem to like him. And the Brit is like, she's like, oh my God, the dogs like him. That means that he's going to like me. And so there you go. That's the Miranda story. But also Miranda and Seema. So Seema is looking for an apartment for Miranda in this episode. And Miranda doesn't want to pay surcharge for the apartment. And Seema is like, you're not going to get the best apartment you want if you don't go above the asking price. So if the asking price is $1 million, you're going to have to offer $1 million and another 150,000. Otherwise, you're not gonna get the apartment. And then Miranda, justly so, I agree with Miranda in that. Miranda says, but what the hell? Like, if that's the asking price, why do I have to go another 150 over? Like, who started these stupid rules? And Seema says, well, that's just how it is. Accept it. And then Miranda ends up accepting it. So she loses that battle and gets the apartment, I suppose. All of this is happening while Lisa is with her sexy editor editing, and she's kind of infatuated by the editor. Her phone is ringing and she turns her phone to mute because she wants to kind of keep feeling the hots for her editor. And the phone was ringing a lot because somebody wanted to call her, somebody was calling her to tell her that her dad passed away. So she missed the call telling her that the dad was in the hospital, that she should rush to the hospital, to see him one last time and say goodbye. Well, she missed that. Now she feels guilty. Had she answered the phone, she could have maybe made it to the hospital in time to see him one last time before he passes away. Now, because she turned her phone on mute, nobody could reach her. So her husband drove all the way to her editing building. So he opens the door of the editing room and he sees her with her editor, not doing anything, but being, ooh, you know? So he's like, that's your sexy editor. I see what's going on here. So she's like, no, 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 what? No, no, no. He's like, well, I'm here not to check up on you, but to tell you that your dad passed away. So Lisa now feels guilty because she thought it's her fault that she couldn't see her dad one last time. So she's kind of upset. She calls Charlotte. Charlotte comforts her. You know, Charlotte is the mother in this episode. She comforts everybody until the end. And then in the end, something else happens. But so then Lisa has to organize the funeral. Lisa's dad had a lover. I don't know if he married that woman, but he is kind of he was directing a theater and he was together with this woman who was with him the last years of his life. And so she, I guess, inherited stuff from him and she wants to organize the funeral. Lisa is now invited by her for her dad's funeral. And Lisa's like, wait, hold on a minute. I'm going to organize my dad's funeral. You're not going to invite me to my father's funeral. What the heck? So she goes to beef with the woman. And then there's a weird showdown of luxury bags. I'm like, a man just died. And all you can do is show off each other's bags. And I get the joke. Michael Kors is not luxury. Duh, we know. But the lady that Lisa was talking, so Lisa arrived with her Fendi bag, the Peekaboo, I believe, and the other lady had a Michael Kors bag, and the lady, and the two bags are standing next to each other at the diner, and the lady says to Lisa, like, "Oh, you have a nice bag there," and Lisa says, "Thank you," and then she says, and then the lady says, "Yeah, I have a bag too," and it's like a TJ Maxx Michael Kors bag, like, you know what I mean? The shade, the shade. And throughout the episode, every time we see her, she has another Michael Kors bag, and she keeps saying, "Look, I have a Michael Kors bag." And I was like, oh my God, okay. But that cringe was warranted. I get it. I understand why it was there. That's fine. So then they have a little bit of a beef section going on in the diner. Lisa is like, I want it to be classy. I want the funeral. I don't want it to be tacky. And the other woman says, hey, you were barely ever there. I was there with him the whole time. You weren't really. And Lisa says, I feel guilty. I know I wasn't, but please make the funeral elegant. And the funeral is going to take place in the theater where her dad worked. Yeah, Nectarine says, yeah, she's clearly she's trying to keep up with Lisa Todd Wexley, who is clearly on another level. Yeah, and Lisa just ignores it instead of just acknowledge, because when the lady says to her, look, I have a Michael Kors bag, Lisa should have said, it's lovely, it's really, really beautiful. Instead, Lisa is like, I'm like, give her that. Tell her your bag is lovely too. Instead, no. Anyway, whatever. So, of course, everybody's invited to the funeral. Everybody's dressed in black. Lisa is wearing Dior peplum, like the new look, but in black, like way overdressed, even though elegantly, but way overdressed for what it is. But then again, this is the new Sex and the City. So, of course, they're going to have a fashion show for her father's funeral. Carrie is wearing Chanel camellias in her hair, and she looks, I'm like, you're not even at a funeral, girl, but whatever. So they start singing. There's a play playing. You know, it's not that minimal like Lisa would have hoped it to be. But anyway, she is appreciative in the end. She starts crying. She gives her eulogy. Everything goes well in the end. There is a scene in Anthony's bakery. And every time we're at Anthony's bakery, they have to give us, they have to pan down to the huge dildo inside of Luigi's pants or whatever his name is. And I'm just like, So and every time it's the same shtick, and then there's some like elderly lady ordering bread, looking at the penis and being all like not moving. Um, and there's a nice little scene in the bakery, in the center table. The girls are together talking to each other. Everything is intimate. Harry calls Charlotte, and then Charlotte is all like, "Oh my god, I gotta go, I gotta go," and Carrie's like, "Something is suspicious," because Charlotte is very giddy when Harry called her. What could it be? Well, fast forward to the end of the episode where Carrie is at her local CVS and she sees Charlotte there. Charlotte is not near her own home. Instead, she traveled to Carrie's nearest CVS. So she's hiding because why would she shop at Carrie's CVS and not at her own CVS? Her own CVS is further away from Carrie's CVS. Carrie walks to Charlotte. Charlotte gets shocked when she recognizes Carrie. Charlotte has sunglasses on. She's like incognito in CVS. She was buying male diapers for Harry because last episode we found out that he has cancer, prostate cancer. And so in this episode, he made her promise not to tell anybody, not a soul, that he has prostate cancer. And Charlotte promised not to tell anybody, but it's really hard for her to keep that inside. And she's very worried. She's very scared of losing Harry. In this episode, Harry had to make a decision. Is he going to have surgery or is he going to take pills to deal with this prostate thing? And he said that they caught it really early, so there's like 98% chance that it's all going to go well for him. And he said, "Oh, let's just get it over with. I'm just going to get a surgery. I'm just going to get it operated." However, there's pros and cons to all these things, like penile dysfunction. Is it going to stand up or not? Or incontinence and stuff like that. But he decided to have surgery. Charlotte is now at the end of the episode in the CVS nearest to Carrie, holding all these male diapers in her hands. When Carrie sees her and says, "Charlotte," and then Charlotte drops all the diapers and is shocked that she was discovered. And Carrie rushes to her and says, "What's going on? You've been strange all this time." And then Charlotte breaks down, starts crying, and she says, "Please don't tell anybody." And then Carrie tells her, "I will be your tomb," or whatever. She didn't say tomb because that would be a little bit dark. No, she said something to the effect of like, "I will be your convent." I don't know what she said, but anyway, like she's like, "Whatever you tell me, I'm not going to tell anybody." And Charlotte starts crying and tells her that Harry has cancer. "I will be your vault." Okay, thank you, Sylvie. Thank you, Nectarine Man. Yeah, she says, "I'll be your vault." And then Charlotte breaks down and finally she gets to open up and tell somebody what's going on. And she tells Carrie. And we have a really nice bonding moment there. Very Sex in the City. You know what this reminded me of? And by the way, Charlotte starts crying. They're standing in the CVS and Carrie is hugging Charlotte. And Charlotte is like leaning on Carrie. And now she's like crying like you would cry in your mother's embrace. Like she was not just crying, she was sobbing, she was like out of breath. She was like, you could feel the agony. Like it was the type of cry of pain but relief at the same time. Like it was really done well. And then the camera is kind of from behind them panning out and then it's kind of like lifting up and that's the end of the episode. But she is crying so deeply, but you could feel that that cry is also liberating because finally she got to share her pain with her best friend. And this reminded me very much of the Sex and the City episodes, that, you know, like um, when Magda came back home. She's cleaning lady and nanny of little Brady in Sex and the City. And when she came to Miranda's place and Steve's mom was, I don't know if, did she have Alzheimer's or did she have dementia? But she was losing it, right? And Miranda had to run after her in the street and get her. And Steve's mom was like digging through the trash and she found some leftover pizza in the trash and was eating it. And Miranda like brought her back home and she put her in the bathtub naked and she started washing her. And when Magda came through the door, saw what was happening, and she said, "That right there, what you did there, that's love." So that reminded me Carrie and Charlotte together, and Charlotte like crying her heart out, pouring her soul out to Carrie, trusting her fully. Like that type of energy is the type of energy I felt in that really emotional scene when Magda told Miranda, that what you did for Steve's mom, that's love. That's true love. That scene, when I first watched it many, many years ago, when season 6 of Sex and the City aired, I cried. That broke me up completely. I did not cry for this Charlotte Carrie hug this time around, maybe because I'm just older and more bitter. But I did feel emotions. I did feel something. And it was nice. It was a nice moment. It was old school Sex in the City moment, for me. Now, the comedic relief, strangely, this episode was Seema. Because, I mean, you can't really take her seriously anymore. I'm like, did this woman not put aside any money, like all of these hundreds of years that she was working in this realtor business? Because now that she's not going to accept to work for that company anymore, she didn't get the loan from the bank to start her own business. I'm like, don't you have your own money to start your own business after all these years? But also, she's like, I can't live any longer like with a private chauffeur in a car. So we have this scene of her driving one last time in the car, being driven by her chauffeur, and she doesn't even want to talk to him. And she's playing a song, like a really melodramatic, overly dramatic song, while she's like living, feeling her oats, like one last time driving in that car or being driven in the car. And so bizarre, the actor who's driving her, like they didn't even let him talk, maybe because he was not SAG. No, I think everybody, it's a SAG production, so he's probably SAG, but they don't have to pay him almost anything if he doesn't talk, right? They pay him like a minimum for just not talking. And so it's kind of a funny situation where she's like, oh, what am I going to do with my car? Oh my God. And so she's listening to this music and she tells him, don't talk, don't talk. It's better this way. This is my way of saying goodbye. I'm like, oh, girl, it's just a freaking car. Get over it. And then she has issues. She's the comedic relief of the episode. When she comes to the funeral, like she took a subway, but she had high heels and then her feet are killing her. She's like barely walking to the funeral of Lisa's father. And Carrie asks her, what's wrong with you? She says, it's like walking. It's like terrible. These shoes are not made for walking. They're made to be driven. And then justly so, they tell her, like, Seema, why didn't you take an Uber? I don't know. It's supposed to be funny, I guess, but I didn't find it funny at all. She did have a wonderful hat. It looked very Chanel at the funeral, while Carrie had the Chanel camellias. Um, So yeah, Zara says, yeah, right. She would still have commission from Carrie's multi-million-dollar home. And she's going to get commission because she sold Miranda an apartment in this episode. I mean, it all makes no sense. But anyway, she's the comedic relief of the episode. Very strange. I guess she had to be the comedic relief of the episode. You know why? Because Seema currently is the only one who doesn't have a boyfriend or a husband or a lover. So they could use her to just, use her as comedic relief because Carrie has issues with Aiden. Miranda, we don't know if it's going to work out very well with her BBC lover. Charlotte is worried for Harry passing away or not passing. Is he going to make it or not? Lisa, she's starting to flirt with her editor. Her husband is starting to doubt her. Her father passed away. So these four ladies all have serious issues to deal with this episode. So Seema, of course, was then chosen to be the comedic relief. Nectarine Man says Seema's funeral look was the nicest. A tasteful jumpsuit and boater hat. Yeah, that boater hat was so Chanel. I agree. I agree with you, Nectarine Man. It wasn't over the top. Seema's funeral outfit was the nicest. I think the most pretentious was Lisa's with that Chanel, with that Dior little peplumi new look. I'm like, girl, it's a funeral. It's not a fashion show. But anyway, um, so yeah, and then so yeah, I'm just waiting to see when is Carrie going to, sleep with like which episode? How many episodes are they going to keep us waiting until she finally sleeps with the author that lives under her? Oh, he'll be above her sooner than you think. And is Aiden going to be okay with that? Or are they going to push for some really weird plot twist where the three of them have a threesome? I don't think Aiden would want to do that. Maybe he would have to spit in two hands this time. See what I did there? Okay. So anyway, yeah. Now, I think after all is said and done, I guess it was okay. The episode was okay. I'm looking forward to episode 7. So apparently there's going to be 12 episodes. So we're halfway through the show, right? So there's 6 more episodes to go if there are 12 episodes. And we don't know if the show will be renewed for season 4. I hope it will be, honestly. Even for all those people who love to hate watch the show, they still love to watch the show. Oh, what I also noticed is that I've been watching a lot of interviews this week that Sarah Jessica Parker did for the most part. And it's interesting, every interview she goes to, like these are like people who are part of the academia of New York, and they all are of a certain age and they all love the show. At least they say to her that they're big fans of the show. But then they're also friends of Sarah Jessica Parker. So I don't know. Maybe they're a little bit biased. But I'm like, educated people, even though they might have issues with the show, educated people all kind of like the show. And then there's the other people, which unfortunately are in the majority. They don't like the show. And I'm like, why don't they like the show? Because they don't get it? Or because they see themselves too much reflected in it and they can't accept it? What is it that it'll, you know what I mean? Like, okay, everybody complained about Che. Che is bad, Che is bad. Okay, Che is gone. Now you got other problems. Like they keep looking for, like, okay, but now that Che's gone, I got this problem I got this issue. Um Kev says, this is the latest about the dead father from Lisa Todd Wexley. And he quotes, a source close to the series tells IndieWire that the deceased dad in season 1 of And Just Like That is Lisa Todd Wexley's stepfather. I mean, did they come up with that now? Like after they made the mistake, they're like, oh, okay, we're gonna make it like that's her stepfather. Yeah, right? Nectarine Man sounds like they're covering themselves. Um Grant says, I understand kinda about writers, since sometimes their turnovers or many writers forgetting about a death, but how can an actress forget a storyline like that? Kev says, I'm sure they can whip anything up. Oh, for sure. I mean, it can definitely be a stepfather situation. Yeah, totally. Or it can be some form of like psychological thing. Like she went to the shrink and it was like a emotional passing. Like my dad passed 1 year ago because we were estranged. And so in my mind, he passed, but now he passed physically 3 years. I don't know. Look, there's so many ways they can go to kind of justify whatever they did and why they did it. So for sure, they're going to find some explanation. Um, Oh, Kanan says, I think they changed it when they got Billy D. Williams to play her dad in season 2. Hmm. Debbie says, they need a plot spreadsheet. They need a plot spreadsheet and they need Samantha back. I cannot believe that in 6 episodes, we only get Samantha on the phone in text message in 1 episode. And that is in episode 6. So we had to wait, sorry, that is in episode 5. So we had to wait 5 episodes to get one sentence from Samantha in text form. We've had more Samantha in text form in the prior seasons than now, which means I think they're really trying to phase her out more and more. You know, with every passing season, there's going to be less talk of Samantha. And she's just going to become a distant echo. And I cannot, you know, I need her back, even if it's only in text form through telephone. Like, you know, at least give her zingers on the phone. And I'm saying this why? Because if you think about it, um, the same writers would write, you know, texts for Samantha for her character when she was in the show. So if she's not in the show physically, they can still write the zingers for her, you know, on the phone. Why not? Period. Nectarine Man says apparently they have a wardrobe spreadsheet, but couldn't be bothered to make a plot one too. Linda says for sure. Debbie says, LOL, Nectarine Man. Kelly Carrick says Samantha was that OG show. Oh yeah. And I'm loving the new characters, don't get me wrong. But you know what I mean? You know, I need my little Samantha fix now and then, you know? Or just like Kim Cattrall can do what she did in season 2. Like, just do a little cameo appearance where you film alone without any of the other actors, actresses, without Michael Patrick King. You don't see any of them. You film your little cameo, and we slowly expand to a spin-off of Samantha living in London. Samantha in the city. I would love to have Samantha Jones, like a spin-off of her in London. Just saying. She could be best friends with Courtney Love, who also lives in London, for example. Just saying. And then she could have scenes with Jennifer Saunders, Joanna Lumley. I mean, you know, just saying. Anyway, that ends my recap of episode 6, season 3 of And Just Like Dirt, we are 12 feet under. Let me know your thoughts and prayers down below. Did you like the show? Did you like my recap? Yeah? Love? Well, let a ho know down below. Little rhyme. Ho, ho, ho. Subscribe, thumb up the video. See you in the next one. Bye.